Hi guys, Foxtrot here. Today I'm going to take a look at the controversial Captain Sim 777, specifically the 300ER, which is a little bit cheaper than the original and more controversial 200ER, sitting at $19.99 or £14.69 on the Captain Sim store. Now, it's important to note the controversy that surrounds Captain Sim. First off, the former reputable simware provider released a relatively expensive aircraft skin that was lacking in all aspects, which was the 777-200ER, for a staggering $29.99. I say skin because that's all it was, a skin for the default 747-800. It even has 4 engines on the displays. The plane looked like a 777 inside and out for the most part, but in reality it was the 747, let's be clear. Secondly, and much more worryingly, Captain Sim tried to steal liveries created by freeware developers and take them as their own. As you can see in this press release from flightsim.to, they then threatened to sue anyone who was hosting free third-party liveries, completely destroying the last bit of credibility Captain Sim had in the eyes of the Microsoft Flight Sim community. Of course, that was retracted when the community rose up and demanded Captain Sim cease its mission, which wouldn't have ended in anything other than self-destruction and a lost market, let's be honest. So, is it too late for Captain Sim? Well, let's take a look at the 300ER today and maybe it will help some people decide. I'll start by saying the 300ER is essentially the same aircraft as the 200ER. Obviously there are different variants of 777s and that is reflected in these aircraft. It is cheaper than the 200ER, selling at $19.99 instead of the $29.99, which is a little bit more bearable. I fully intended this aircraft to be a VATSIM model, as 777s kept appearing as generic 2-engine aircraft, and I hate those generics, and also I had it set to A320s at the time, and then when people were saying they were in 777s, it just didn't look right. But upon doing a little bit of research and installing a few mods, I've actually found it to be more than Captain Sim's now tarnished reputation would allow you to believe. Let's get one thing straight though. To make this skin flyable, you need some freeware mods. 5 to be precise, most of which are ironically available on flightsim.to. Remember that hosting site that Captain Sim threatened to sue over the liveries, so let's take a quick look at those mods first. This isn't going to be an installation tutorial, but I will tell you where to get the mods, and all links will be in the video description. Most important thing is that you read all the descriptions on the mods on how to install. First off is the Salty Simulations fantastic 747 modification available from their GitHub page. This mod makes the default 747 flyable in systems and behaviours, and we need it so the 777 can use the 747 systems. Do note though that Salty don't support Captain Sim, which isn't surprising, so no tech support is offered by Salty when using their freeware with the 777, but they are aware that it's happening and they seem to be okay with it. Secondly, you need a compatibility mod, available for free on, you guessed it, flightsim.to. Developed and uploaded by Nuspligve and TJC Aviation respectively. This one can be tricky. It needs to be downloaded and changed slightly with another mod, but I'll explain after. This one is Dan R. Lee Bueno's Flight Model Fix, again available on flightsim.to. This mod is currently being revised due to Sim Update 5 causing problems, so keep an eye on that, but it seems to be working at the moment. This basically overhauls the flight model of the 777 and changes the cockpit textures. Now, for the tricky bit, this mod can cause severe stutters, so before you install it, you must take a look at the next mod, I'll call it a mod, it's more of a file change, provided by Big H55. Do not download this one, instead read the instructions carefully and do what they tell you to do. This basically reverts the fuel tank changes made by the flight model mod, so you now need to empty the stability tank every flight, as you should be seeing on your screen now. but trust me, it's worth it or you'll get terrible stutters, and the flight model mod is a must. Finally, I highly recommend the free sound mod from FSS Plus, which overhauls the engine sounds, or if you subscribe on Patreon, a full sound effect overhaul. With all these mods, you must read the instructions carefully. Failure to do so will undoubtedly break the aircraft more so rather than fix it, and require you to reinstall the 777. Of course, you can always use the 777 on its own without any of the mods, but then you will be flying the 747 skinned. So trust me, it's worth the time of installing these mods. Now we've been through how to make this aircraft somewhat close to what it should be in the first place, let's take a look at the aircraft itself. Okay, so we're on the ground here at Heathrow, and from the outside you can see this aircraft is actually pretty good looking. My only concern is the APU. As you can see here, it's drawn on, but overall, especially with liveries like this one created by Unit Death and uploaded to flightsim.to, the exterior of the aircraft looks pretty good, and I've not really got any complaints. A look now at just a couple of the exterior animations. You can see here, using the toolbar pushback by Ambitious Pilot, you can open the cargo door and the front and rear passenger doors as you'd expect. Now you can even see from the interior that as you do the animation of the doors, you get quite a bit of detail in terms of the handle opening and closing. You don't see this on any other aircraft as far as I know. So that's a nice little feature to have there as well. Again, this is all done by Captain Sim. Moving to the interior then, as we're looking around the cockpit, you can see it's not actually that bad at all. In fact, it's quite well detailed in terms of the textures and what's here. Now remember, we have got the textures mod installed, so things do change, but even looking at the seats here, you can almost get the feel for how warm and fuzzy those things are. Looking around the cockpit in general, it's all pretty convincing. You know, it's a 777 cockpit. The buttons are lacking a little bit, not all pressable and interactable. I believe the Salty Sim compatibility mod makes things a little bit different, but you can see like not everything is clickable here that's around. Basic functions there though, and it functions as it would and is actually usable with VATSIM, especially with the Salty Sim compatibility mod. Now looking at the door, you can see the door is very detailed. Now what you may be surprised, you can actually click this and open it. Look at that, we're now walking through the cabin. That is the only door that's clickable to open, the rest aren't, even though they're there. As we walk through then, the first bit we're going to get to is the smaller of the galleys on the aircraft, and you can see it's got all the food in here, a lot of detail, the trolleys. This is probably the more detailed of all the galleys that are on the aircraft. Moving on then into first class, and you can see here again, you get a real feel for the space that would be available to you in first class. I've never flown first class, so this is a bit of an eye-opener for me. It feels very luxurious, and looking around again in this smaller part, it's a bit more exclusive. We've got magazines dotted about everywhere. You can actually zoom in and just about read those magazines, which is really good detail, to be fair. I've not had a read of them yet. I'm sure there's plenty of puns and jokes in there. Into the another centre galley here now. Again, still quite a lot of detail here. You can see the consoles on the wall, you can see the info for the lights as well. Moving then on to business class or economy plus, again, magazines on the wall. Seats well detailed, you can see out all the windows as well, you can see the detail of the aircraft outside. And then moving backwards into economy, nice and packed in like sardines in here, all the seats available. You can see on the back of the seats they've all got screens. These screens actually do come on when the aircraft is running, which I'm sure you'll see later on in the video. Again, a few magazines dotted about. I have seen a mod for the screens to make it Air France and the interior all Air France, and they do actually display the Air France logo, so it is all moddable. Again, available on flightsim.to. Okay, into the rear galley then. This is the largest of the galleys. It's a little less detail, as you can see, not not as detailed as the first two, but there's still plenty of stuff about here. And then just looking out in the rear door, you can see through the window. Now my favourite feature is the toilets. Now you can't actually click the toilets, but looking at them you can go inside, and there you go, there is a toilet, a sink, all the rest of it. You can go inside all of the toilets if you just manoeuvre the camera, and you can have a look in there. I'm not sure why they didn't make it clickable. That would have been a nice feature, but never mind. So looking at that interior then, I mean it's quite fair to say that, not including the cockpit, okay, yeah, there's probably a lot better cockpits available in terms of interactability, but the interior itself, that is quite probably the most detailed interior in the sim. I'm going to say that out there. I know it's Captain Sim and I know there's the controversy around it, but you cannot deny that that is a well detailed and probably the best detailed interior available in the sim. The fact that it's moddable as well to allow the screens to be customized, and as you can see here the screens are working from the screenshots that I've taken here. From the clip before as well, that walk around, it all looks fantastic, and I'm willing to say that there. It is just such a shame that they didn't put more effort into actually making this plane work how it should. It is a skin for the 747, but it looks good. It does look good. If only they'd have done better with the systems. But that's why we're using the mods, and that's why it's important that you download these mods if you are intending to use this aircraft. Alright, so now we've had a look inside and out, let's get into the cockpit and get us started up, and you can see some of those mods in action as we do that. Now obviously with Sim Update 5 a few things got broken. They have released a fix since, which is surprising because Captain Sim said it wasn't going to be doing any more updates, but I suppose they're willing to fix the things that break. If they've already made them, they just weren't going to add any extra, which is a shame. One of the main things that is missing at the moment is the cockpit lighting at night. The floodlights don't work. They say they are fixing it, so we'll see. But we'll get this started up anyway, and you'll see the mods in action that we've downloaded. So obviously, I'll just go through the generic starter up. Obviously, battery on and all that good stuff, and then APU. Waiting for APU to start up, and then we go APU gen. Now you can already hear this. This is already FSS Plus here kicking in. Otherwise it'd be using the default 747 sounds. So this is the APU provided by FSS Plus. Now the real difference you'll hear when we get the actual engines started themselves. But you can see there already APU animation, that door comes open, but I mean they still couldn't have done a better APU than that. It is annoying in places how it lacks in some and then really has a lot of detail in others. Okay, so there's the APU running. That should have been waiting for me to click, but whatever. Okay, we're gonna get the engines to start just so we can hear the engines starting up here. And again, this is the FSS Plus mod that we're going to hear right now. As I say, if we weren't using the mod, all we'd get is the default 747 sounds. Okay, that's engine started. So looking in here in the screens, first thing you can see is obviously it does have 4 engines, as would be the 747. Massively disappointed. I mean, how easy would it have been just to put 2 engines there? But okay, whatever. We got these 2 working only. This has been changed with the flight model and systems mod. That was not round donuts on the EICAS. It was something else, but that's been changed now. And you can see it actually does use the salty mod now in the FMC. Now this is almost full integration with this compatibility mod, even to the point where it allows you to load up SimBrief. Let's just have a look. If I can, I'll just request the last route that I had and see if I can load that. Okay, it's not going to take it because obviously we're in the wrong place, but you can see it's already pulled up my flight number from the last flight that I did. Let's just see if I can put it in. Nah. So it's saying we're going to Pittsburgh. I believe the takeoff was Chicago O'Hare, but it's not happy with that because obviously it knows we're in Heathrow. It just is what it is. But it's actually loaded up that flight plan otherwise. That would be a mess if I took off from here. But yeah, we're not going to get into the systems too deeply. What I am going to do is I'm going to give you a demo of the aircraft going off the runway, so we can hear those sounds. Okay, so you can see we're on the runway here, ready to go at Heathrow. Now what you can see, I've got all the lights on. All the lights do work bar the top beacon. The top beacon has been broken since Sim Update 5. They say they're fixing it, so we'll see. There will be a fix update at some point. You can see the lower beacon works. It is quite dull though compared to most of the Sims beacons. I'll just show you a nighttime view here, so you can see all the lights in action there. You see the strobes working, the tail light, the lower beacon there, landing and taxi lights, and the wing lights as well. Okay, but as I say, the top beacon isn't working yet. It is what it is. Obviously, while we're here, don't forget to empty that stability tank. If you don't empty that, then you will have balance issues when you're flying. But let's have a look at the outside animations then. So we'll have a quick look at the flight control surfaces then. You can see it's all fully modded and working. And this is all done by Captain Sim itself, and it's actually quite nice, especially the tail animation. Look how far that turns around. All looks good. Speed brakes there. And then the flaps are really good. I really like the flaps. They go very deep on the aircraft itself. You can see they're starting to move now. It's a slow movement. But if you watch this animation, it's definitely one of the better flap animations in the game, in my opinion. And that's a shame, because this is Captain Sim. This is what they've been able to produce as an exterior model. And you've seen the interior, you know, it's good inside. They just quit when it came to the systems. And I don't know why. Maybe the guy who normally does flight systems left or something. I've never used a Captain Sim product before, but I was told they were a very reputable company in the sim community. And for whatever reason, their first release for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 just went wrong. Okay, but there's the flaps. You can see it's a really good animation. It's very detailed and really nice to look at as a whole. Now it does take a while for those flaps to get back up. We'll take them to 2, but basically what we're going to do now is we're going to take off. So I mean, by the time those flaps come up, we'll probably already be in the air, but we're going to go for it anyway. We're going to go for an exterior takeoff here, just so you can hear FSS Plus sounds in use. You can see we've even got wing flex there as well. Inside the cockpit, real quiet. We've got overspeed warning coming on. Say goodbye to that as we get the flaps up. Okay, inside the cockpit, nice and quiet. And it is an enjoyable aircraft to fly with the mods. I can't stress that enough. You've got to use these mods. Again, with the mods, it works. It does work. And it is enjoyable to fly. It's a 777 in the game. But you have to use those mods. Which is a shame because Captain Sim really could have done a lot better. So what's the verdict? There's no denying Captain Sim's initial release and subsequent assault on other third-party content creators was nearly the death of them in Microsoft Flight Sim. All politics aside, if you want a 777 in-game, currently this is all you have. The visuals are great, as we've seen. The systems and flight model, not so much, which is a shame, but not really any different to other notorious payware creators on the marketplace. The main difference is, those creators didn't threaten to sue a hosting company for holding mods and liveries that actually improve their product, and that will of course sit over Captain Sim forever, there's no doubt about it. It's not amazing, but for under £15, added with the fantastic freeware mods which make this aircraft flyable, it's a valid option when considering a larger airliner. And compared to some of Asobo's default large aircraft, which also required extra payment, it's not unthinkable as to why people are buying this aircraft. Of course, for me and for many others I'm sure, it's a stopgap until PMDG releases their 777. And if PMDG's DC-6 is anything to go by, it will be fantastic, I'm sure. What do you guys think though? Let me know in the comments below, and if only one person finds this video useful, it's mission accomplished. I do hope you enjoyed this look at the Captain Sim 777-300ER. If you did, let me know below, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon.